Welcome to the Northern Burlington County Regional Middle School Media Center. This orientation video will give you a brief overview of the layout of the library as well as basic procedures. Let's take a look inside. One of the first things you may notice is the announcement board. Information about clubs, sports, and other things may be posted here. On the right is our circulation desk. Here you will find the book drop for when you are returning books. Drop your books in here on or before their due dates to avoid a late charge. Above the book drop are the sign-in sheets. Anytime you use the Media Center without your entire class, you will need to bring a pass and sign in on the correct form. If you visit from a class, you will sign in on the blue sheet. Please notice how you sign in. First, you will print your first and last name. Then, you put the date, the teacher who sent you, and your time into the Media Center. When you leave, you are expected to sign out by putting the correct exit time on the sheet. If you visit after school, you will sign in on the pink sheet. Please note that only 30 students are permitted after school in the Media Center. You are encouraged to sign up earlier in the day. If you wait until after school, there's a good chance you will not get a spot in the library because there will be too many students here. The Media Center is not always open after school. Listen to the morning or afternoon announcements for after-school hours. When the Media Center is closed after school, this sign will be posted. The circulation desk is not only where you will check out books, but it holds many items you may need while working in the Media Center. When you have made a book selection, bring it to Mrs. Newman's computer so you can be checked out. You can have up to 4 books out at a time for up to 4 weeks each. In order to check out a book, you must have your agenda. You will be responsible for stamping your book's due date on the correct date in your agenda as a reminder to return your book on time. Don't forget a free bookmark. However, you may take one only when you check out a book. Mrs. Newman also highlights books each week that she thinks you may like. Around the top of the circulation desk, to the left of Mrs. Newman's computer, you will find many items you can use, like pencils, tape, paper, and other office supplies. Behind these items is the Media Center printer. See the big printer sign? On the side of the circulation desk, there are many other items that might interest you. You may walk behind here. You do not need to ask permission. Behind here, you will find things like magazines you may borrow here on the shelves, or ones that you can keep here in the white box. Follow the Books novels if you join that club, and art supplies like construction paper and markers. In front of the circulation desk, you will find our copy machine, which you can use. It costs 5 cents a page to copy, and Mrs. Newman can give you change if you need it. In front of the copier, next to the flag, is the pencil sharpener. Here you will also find the main computer area. There are 25 computers here you may use. On the opposite side of the Media Center are 4 extra computers you may also use. Remember, until you memorize it, always have your computer ID and password with you. When you are here with a class, you may be assigned a computer. This is done by choosing a computer card and matching your computer number to the correct computer. Anytime you use a computer, you must follow our school's acceptable use policy, which you can find hanging here or printed in your agenda book. Please be aware that tampering with or misusing a school computer in any way is against school policy and will have consequences. In extreme circumstances, Mrs. Newman can check a computer's history to see who sat there last. If you notice something is wrong with the computer, tell a teacher right away. Next to the acceptable use policy, you will see our Media Center policies. These are the same ones that are in your agenda book, so read and become familiar with them. Mrs. Newman is just like any other teacher at Northern. She will expect you to follow school rules and policies and will assign consequences like detentions if the rules are broken. Next to this, you will see our essential questions. These tell you the focus of our instruction in the Media Center. Although you will not be given a library grade, you will learn many skills in the Media Center that you will use in all of your classes this year and all throughout high school and even college. In the center of the room is the main table area. Sometimes you will be told just to come in and sit down, but other times you may be asked to choose a table card. Take your table card and match it to the correct table number and sit down. In front of the extra tables, in the center of the room is the magazine and couch area. Magazines that are currently on display do not circulate, which means they can be read, but they do not leave the Media Center yet. If you'd like to borrow a title, you will need to wait until the next issue comes in, or choose an older title from behind the circulation desk. Don't forget to put magazines back in the right spot when you are finished. See how each spot is labeled for each magazine. Mrs. Newman is very particular about this. Students who consistently leave the couch area messy or whose behavior is unacceptable in this area will be told they cannot sit in the couch area during their next library visit. On On the far left wall of the media center, you will find the fiction section. Fiction shelves are labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The fiction section is arranged alphabetically by author's last name. To find a book from this section, either know what you are looking for or look a book up in our school catalog called Destiny. Here you see an entry for The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. To find this book, note its call number. FIC means fiction, and COL refers to the first 3 letters of the author's last name. Then, find the shelf that will have the letter COL on it. This brings us to shelf number 2 because COL is in between CI and G. Then scroll your finger down to COL, and there you go. Behind the fiction section in the back left of the media center are short stories and collections. To find a book in this section, follow the same procedure as before. Here you see a listing of Destiny for Tales of Mystery and Terror by Edgar Allan Poe. The call number is SC Poe. The SC refers to the story collection, so you know which part of the library to go to. The POE is for the author's last name. Next to the short stories is the Spinner. The Spinner has a lot of paperbacks and popular genres like sports and horror. On top of the first 3 lower shelves, Mrs. Newman displays new fiction arranged by genre. Typically, new books come in 2 to 3 times a year. Mrs. Newman will display them so you can get a better look. Any book on display is available for checkout. Simply pick it up and take it to the circulation desk. Below these lower shelves begins the nonfiction section, and it continues across the media center all the way until the next tall shelf. To navigate this section, you will need to know the call number of the book you wish to find. You can find this in Destiny or ask Mrs. Newman for help. For instance, this entry for the book Ultimate Special Forces gives us the call number 356 MCM. 356 tells us where to look in nonfiction, and the MCM gives us the first 3 letters of the author's last name. For this title, we have to find where in the library 356 is. This sign will help because 356 is in between 355.5 and 500.8, so we know our book is in this row. Scan your finger along until you find the right number and then look for the MCM. Here you go. On the right-hand side of the library, nonfiction continues. Among other topics, here you will find Dewey number 741.5, which refers to graphic novels and manga. Next to nonfiction, on the far right side of the media center, in the last 2 tall shelves is the reference section. You may use any of these resources, but they do not leave the library. Lastly, behind these 2 tall shelves, in the back right of the media center is the biography and memoir section. Biographies are arranged not by author, but by the person the book is about. For instance, if we want to find this book called Michael Jordan, A Life Above the Rim, we need to know its call number. Destiny shows us its call number is B. Jordan. B stands for biography, and Jordan obviously is the subject of the book. The memoir section is here too. Memoirs are like biographies but are typically autobiographical. In Destiny, you will see a call number come up with an M for memoir, like this book called The Freedom Writer's Diary. This concludes a basic overview of Northern Burlington Middle School's Media Center. Remember, the more you use the library, the more familiar and comfortable you will become.